for bearing with us. As I mentioned, I'm the program manager for the Innovation Challenge, and thanks for joining us today. I have with me here Deb Stancy, who is the Director of Small Business Innovation here at CI, and she's a visionary who you can thank for many programs like this that really help our small technology companies get a leg up, get started, and get moving, and get profitable in the state. We also have a couple of small business owners. We've got Dan Sabia, I'm sorry, and Dave Cook from Quoralt. And welcome to everyone who's out there, and we can get started. Today we're talking about smart grids, and that was a topic that was submitted by United Technologies Research Center, or UTRC, and we're delighted to have Stella Odiano and Allison Gotkin from UTRC with us to share information about their needs. They're going to tell you what their technology needs and expectations are for this project and answer all of your questions. So we're all going to do our best to help you understand both the topic and the program process and get all of your questions answered. So we want to make sure you have all the information that you need so that you can apply for these challenges. Before we start, let me briefly go over the agenda. I'll be giving you a high overview of the program. Then you'll have a discussion with Stella and Allison, as I mentioned, about the topic, and you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. After that, I'll go over the application process with you, and once again, you can ask your questions, and we'll finish up with next steps. And just a couple of housekeeping things. During the webinar, you'll be able to hear us, but you'll be on mute. You will have the opportunity to ask questions, but you need to do that through the question box on the right of your screen. Just type them in and submit them. You can put them in any time during the presentation, but I want you to know that we will be batching them and addressing them after each speaker is finished. So again, whenever it occurs to you, just type your question in and we'll make sure that they get answered. And finally, I do want to mention that if you're having any technical difficulty at all, please use that question box to send us what the issue is, and we'll do our best to get it resolved. Okay, we're going to get started in just a second as soon as the presentation is up. Okay, next slide. As you know, the program was announced in November of 2012, and the real reason behind it was to expedite the concept to the commercialization timeline. You know, we've got some great research going on out there in our colleges and universities. We also have some great ideas in our small businesses and our small companies that need the empirical research of the universities to validate them before they can produce them. And we've got some real technical needs, very challenging ones, in the marketplace. So by putting all of these entities together, it really helps us to address the challenges that are out there, particularly in the open innovation environment where not any one entity has all of the answers. So, a little more about the program. As you read in the RFP, there is $500 available in funding, $500,000 available in funding to fund up to 5 projects and up to $150,000 per project. Now, it is a matching program, and for those of you that are not familiar, what that means is that the state will put in $150,000 in an award. It is up to the small company to then match that amount. And of that 150, 75 has to be in cash. The other 75 can be in kind. And what that means is a non-cash contribution. Overhead, consulting, anything that is non-cash that is measurable, can be used as an in-kind award. So 150K, 75 in cash, 75 in kind. As you know, 4 global companies identified challenges of emerging needs in their marketplace. They put them out there, you took a look at them, you saw them in the RFP. The next step is for small businesses to team with the university and propose a solution. It is a requirement to apply for this particular challenge. Now, I know you're interested in hearing more about the topic and you're anxious to get started, so I'm going to turn it over to Stella and Allison. Just to let you ladies know, only one of you can speak at a time, and we'll advance the slides for you, so when you'd like us to go to the next one, just let us know. So may I present Stella Ogianu and Allison Gotkin.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stella Ogianu. I am one of the project leaders and research engineer at United Technologies, the research center. I have been in this company for a number of years working on smart buildings, and we are moving forward to integrate smart buildings as traditionally looked only the supply side, to integrate it into the smart grid world, including demand, supply, and storage of energy. This is where the world is moving. Just to give a little bit of background and overview, the smart grids include energy supply, energy storage, and the loads. And as UTC look at this topic, we are looking at the smart controls and the bidirectional communications with the utilities and users of energy. Smart grids could be a very efficient and reliable way to provide a greener way of energy supply at a very lower cost. But in order to get to that point, it is very important that certain technical, economic, and performance aspects are addressed. And these are the topics I'm going to speak in the next few minutes, and where we will be interested in collaborating with some of you to start resolving and commercializing, getting to the market with this, with all of these products and ideas that can be the next future, or the future for this country. We are also considering, in a more holistic view, not just buildings and utilities, but also in the future, it may be that hybrid or electrical vehicles are considered within this picture. So if we move forward to the next slide. Roberta, can you move forward to the next slide? Thank you. If we move forward to the next slide, in order to get that picture that I spoke beforehand about a holistic world, there are a huge number of projects or problems that need to be addressed. I categorized or organized this into five topics, of which each one of them can be resolved in a very huge number of ways. So what you will see during this presentation is that there's not a clear direction into one topic of interest. There could be more than 20 topics of interest where we would be interested in working and that needs resolution. These five high-level categories include more reliable and cost-effective power sources, energy storage, and power conversion technologies, better and easy to deploy smart meters, improved ways to visualize data and to provide decision-making support to users, stable integration between all the components of the smart grids, including sources, loads, and the grids, and a topic that is becoming extremely relevant in this world is the topic of cybersecurity. In the next 5 slides, I will provide an example of projects that may fit into each one of these 5 categories. What we are looking for is innovative new products that can be easily implemented and can help deploy smart grids within smart buildings. As an example of the challenge number 1 is to provide cost-effective power sources, energy storage, and power conversion solutions. This is extremely general topic, and we are interested in working, for instance, in sizing tools. So one of the problems that exist right now is that there's not a good understanding of how to size each one of the equipment, neither the HVAC nor the energy sources, in order to address, for instance, issues such as how long will the system will have to go work in an autonomous way in order to address a long-term energy outage. So if we could have some ways to do better job on the right sizing that would provide the best efficient way to utilize the resources, that is something on the software side, on the planning side, that is very welcome. We are also looking at better ways to maintain the equipment in order to prolong the lifetime, but also new technologies. So we are also doing new hardware. One specific category that is of interest to this market in general is that of energy storage for smart grids. Right now, there's not existing a reliable way to provide large-scale energy and power storage that would supply the power required for instance, buildings or group of buildings or campuses to work in an autonomous way for any given point of time. Really, there's not technology existent that has improved enough that can fill in that gap. There's a lot of research that is going right now in the area for flow batteries and control of flow batteries, but there are very few proven technologies in this area. So in summary, what we are looking for is from planning tools all the way to alternative technologies as part of the challenge number 1. In challenge number 2, if Roberta can go to the next slide. One of the topics of the smart grids is how to inform the user and how to inform the utilities in real time about the pricing in the future and about the consumption in every single area of a building, any a residential building or a commercial or an industrial building. In order to get to the level of information that is required for an informed user to make the right decisions, whether to turn on and off an equipment or to reprogram, for instance, a production line as a trade-off of energy versus productivity, there needs to be a lot more information about where the energy is consumed, the efficiency of that consumption. So we are now speaking about the area of metering, smart metering, and also all time of sensing, right? Sensing of, for instance, lights is a typical one. Occupancy is another area that needs more work. So in summary, what we are working here is, again, all the way from improved methodology of knowing which sensors to buy, how many, to new technologies, new hardware, new technologies to be deployed. If you go to topic number 3, in the next slide, once that information is available, we usually find a new problem, that is there will be a massive amount of information that will come from every node of your building, your campus, or the utilities. And one of the problems that we usually detect when we speak to energy managers is how to prioritize and how to act on that massive amount of information. So on the software side, we are looking for better ways of visualization, inform the users, inform the energy managers and the utilities, and provide them with the right information and the right insights so they can even automatically or manually make the decisions that they are required even under normal events or abnormal events. Normal events meaning when your building or your campus and the utility are operating normally as now, and abnormal events, for instance, what happened during the major storms that we have been 10, 15 days without power. And in those cases, a microgrid may be providing the power. So how you better utilize resources in that case is also something that should be included in this topic. And another subtopic is what we put here, automatic versus human decisions, is, for instance, if you are at your home, you may want to decide whether turn on the refrigerator or the TV, just to give a rough example, a very easy to understand example. And this is something, a decision that the human wants to decide. And there may be the time in order to make that right decision, or that is depending on each individual. But in other situations, like a power outage, the decisions have to be in a more immediate way. So which decisions we delegate to a machine, and which decisions under which situations we allowed a human through the right decision making support and information to act upon. As a topic number, a challenge number 4, if we move forward one slide. This topic has to do a lot more about the integration of multiple energy storage and sources with the grid. So if we want to move forward in Connecticut with distributed power sources, what is required is that the integration among them and with the grid is done in a stable way. If we work in different frequencies, or the connection or disconnection with the grid is done at the wrong moment and with the right frequency, this can have tremendously bad implications, meaning very very damaging situation in terms of equipment damage and utility equipment damage. There are certain standards that must be applied, but there are certain standards that are not yet in place because this is a new topic. So the area of how to do new controls, plug-and-play methods, it's an important one. The area of how to design new power converter technology that will be capable of grid integration is another area where we see of a challenge, and at the same time a topic of innovation and potential wealth for the state. Topic number 5 in the next slide. Finally, in everything that I have said, there are multiple stakeholders involved. The multiple stakeholders are, for instance, the user, the energy manager, the utility, the state. Each of them will have a certain visualization or connectivity to all the process. Unfortunately, there will also be hackers that can produce a lot of damage, and the topic of cyber and cyber physical security has become of increasing interest, but unfortunately a need. So what we are interested in is in partnering and supporting a company that will develop new methods to perform evaluation of the cybersecurity of energy management system for buildings and of the smart grid controls, methodologies for evaluation, methodologies for protection, and methodologies for response. So I think that pretty much these are the areas that we are interested in. Again, this was meant to be very broad, and the meaning of that is absolutely deserved by the topic, because even if it's a complete need for the state of Connecticut to go into distributed power systems and smart grids, in order to be ahead of the game, we need to resolve all the above topics. And I think that in the next slide, you have my contact point. You don't have my contact point, okay. There will be a way to contact us, and I am open to questions. Yes, here it is.
Does anyone have any questions for Stella? If you do, feel free to type them in the question box. And I do want to mention that this program will be available by recording, so we'll send you an email afterwards. You'll be able to access it. Any questions from anyone? Okay. Then what I think we'll do is we'll move on to talk about the process. Our program is administered out on the Connecticut iHub. Most of you should be familiar with it. You probably saw the RFP out there. If you have not yet had an opportunity to register, please go to ctihub.com and sign up, because in order to participate in the challenge, you will need to do that. We do have a question for Stella. Stella, under the HMI, is a combination of photo-video systems applicable? Hold on just a second. Okay, Stella?
Yes.
Did you hear the question?
No, I don't have the question.
Okay, under the HMI, is a combination of audio and video systems applicable?
No, it's not.
It's not. Okay, thank you. All right, back to the process itself. As I said, if you haven't had an opportunity, please register on the Connecticut iHub. You'll be able to take a look at the RFP again. Please read it very closely. The application is in there. It will tell you everything that you need to do. After you've decided which challenge you're going to apply for, you need to form a team. It has to be a Connecticut team. And by that I mean there needs to be a Connecticut small business and a Connecticut college or university. If you happen to be working with someone outside of the state, that's okay too, as long as you bring in, if it's a university, you need to bring in a Connecticut university. The business, you need to bring in a Connecticut business as well. So it has to be a Connecticut team. These are state resources.
This is Deb Santi. I would just say, add to that, that if you do bring in either a company out of state or a university out of state, your 75% cash match that we talked about earlier, you can use your money to pay for those outside the state resources, but you can't use the state money to pay for those outside of the state resources for obvious reasons. Your money can be spent anywhere you like. The state taxpayers' money should be spent on the Connecticut resources.
Thanks, Deb. Okay, what you need to do is download, complete, and upload the application cover page. And the cover page only. This is important, folks. Please do not upload any proposals to begin with. The Connecticut iHub is a secure platform, but there are different parts of it, some that are public and some that are private. We need to be able to set you up appropriately to make sure that your information is going to the right place, obviously for proprietary information reasons. So once you have uploaded the application cover page only, wait for us to respond to you. That will alert us that you're ready to begin the challenge, and we'll walk you through the next steps.
And again, this is Deb Santi as an example for analysis purposes. It's like Facebook. There's certain information that you put up that's public, but then there's certain information that you only want your family and close friends to see. It's the same concept, just for those of us who aren't quite as savvy in all this as I'm certainly not. So that's my analogy. Thank you.
So the evaluation process, you may be wondering how you're going to be judged on this. There will be a team of judges who are going to take a look at and evaluate your proposal. The bulk of that team will be resources from the company that originated the challenge topic. They're going to look at it, see if it has technical merit. In other words, will it work? Is there innovation there? Is it game-changing? Is it something that really is going to be a breakthrough? Do you have the financial leverage? Do you have the financial resources to come up with your end of the cash and of the in-kind? Do you have other money to be able to leverage if you need more? They're going to look at the market need. How does your particular proposal match up against what their actual need is and what's the impact that it's going to have? And finally, the economic impact. What is this going to do for the state? It's going to bring in more revenue. It's going to create jobs. It needs to create at least one job. But that's the idea of this, to help economic development, both for you and for the state. So those are the things you're going to be evaluated against. And I do want to mention that our application deadline has been extended. In the RFP, it says that the deadline to apply is January 24th. We have extended that until the 31st. I know that we had some holiday issues. We got started at a time that was difficult for a lot of people to get engaged. So our application deadline is extended until the 31st of January. As far as funding goes, we've had a lot of questions on where the payments go. Do they go to the university? Do they go to the large company? The funding goes to the small company. And then, as Deb mentioned, you can use that funding to pay for resources to advance your project. The small company, you can pay the university and any other expenses that you have. A requirement of this particular program is that we'll need quarterly reports, just like all of our other programs. Quarterly reports in order for you to get reimbursed. So you get approved, you get your initial payment. First quarter, you send in a report, send in your invoices, we see that you spent the money appropriately, we give you your second payment, and then third and fourth at the end of each quarter. Okay? And finally, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to get an email as soon as we can get it out to you with instructions on how to access this webinar, both the recording and the slides, and we'll send that out to you soon. And as far as partnering goes, there are some universities that don't have business partners and some businesses that don't have university partners. If you need one, give me a call. I'm going to give you my contact information at the end of this presentation. Give me a call, and we're working on a way to get your information on the iHub as well. We expect to have that within the next couple of days. But your partnering is a collaborative effort, of course, so it's done electronically through the Connecticut iHub. As I mentioned, you need to get registered, and then you can get connected. It's a wonderful tool. You can do a lot of things with it in terms of collaboration. You can share documents and set meetings and really have very meaningful discussions. Any questions before we go on? Any questions about the process or for Stella about the topic?
Stella, this is Deb Santi. I have a question. Are you the main contact for people to reach, or is Allison a backup, or how? Which one of you? Do you have different roles to play, or are you both playing the same? Stella?
Looks like we've lost Stella.
That's not good.
I would say that to begin with, if you have a topic question, address it to Stella's email. Okay. Any other questions?
That's scary. Not that for a second, Stella, but she can't talk to us. Allison is the business developer. Ah, okay. We're getting an answer that Allison is the business development person, but Stella's more the technical resource then. Got it. That's good. Thank you.
Okay. So as far as contacts here, you can call Deb. Our contact information is there. You can call myself. We're happy to help you, happy to answer any questions, happy to help you get partnered. Whatever it is that you need, please get in touch with us. We're looking to help you succeed. Angela?
Sorry, a question earlier was asked, under the HMI, is a combination of audio and video systems applicable? The answer is actually yes, it will be considered.
Okay, originally we had heard no, but it looks like the answer is yes. You can do a combination. Any other questions? All right, well,
Stella would like, if anyone has questions, to put the subject as Connecticut SBIR program.
Okay. I'm not sure if you all heard that, but Stella has asked that if you do contact her, in the subject line of your message, you put CT SBIR program, and that way she'll be able to separate them out.
Well, SBI.
Oh, SBI. I'm sorry. That's my muscle memory going into effect.
Doesn't necessarily have anything to do with SBIR, which is a federal program. So we'll just put SBI, CTSBI, and that will alert us to this particular program that the state is funding, not the federal government.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I do hope to see a lot of applications come through. Oh, there is another question.
Good. We have time.
Is the $75K required for all the technical challenge topics? Yes. Yes, in cash. Actually, $150 is required, but $75 of it needs to be in cash.
Well, and this is Deb Santi. Let me sort of clarify that. If your project only requires $100,000, then it's 50% of that. So we've been using $75,000 because we've been assuming the maximum would be asked for, which is $150. But it's actually, you're smarter to think of it as a percentage. It's 50% of whatever you're asking for has to be in cash from you, and then the other 50% in kind.
So the next question is, out of 5 categories, will only one topic be selected?
Well, I was wondering if somebody was going to ask that.
And there's more to that question, or will only one company be selected?
And I can't, this is Deb Santi. I honestly can't answer that because, in truth, if we were to get some really top drawer proposals submitted on more than one of those 5 challenges that Stella talked about, I would be hard-pressed to not want to fund them going forward. And although it was announced when we started this that there's $500,000 available for this program, which is true, I would work real hard to get access to additional funding if I truly saw some top-notch proposals and felt that more should be funded. Whether I would get my wish or not, I cannot say for sure, but I can tell you I would fight hard to get that additional funding. If we could score some really high proposals, that would be worth a fight to get more funding to fund more programs. In addition, I think you asked if I would fund more than the 1 out of the 5. So the answer is yes. If I can see enough validity to do that, I'll fight for that. And I think the other question was, what was the other question? There was a second part to that. It was something.
Or just one company.
Or just one company. And the answer would be no. If I saw a top-notch proposal from company A on challenge number 1 underneath this topic, and a great proposal from company B on challenge 3 under this topic, it's all going to be, it is kind of like the federal SBIR program in that I really care about the quality of what we're funding.
And someone did ask a clarification question, Deb. I think you covered it, but I'm going to repeat it. The 500K total is for 5 awards across all topics, and that is correct.
That is correct. And then again, I am saying to you though, depending on what I see, if I can see something and the big companies are saying to me, we've got some really, strong proposals with strong small business and university alignment, then I will fight to put more money into the program. So honestly, it really depends on you as a small business pulling together a great team, working well with a big company to actually make something happen.
Okay. Can it be an independent project with UTRC? Not sure I understand the question completely, but the way I think that you're asking this is going to be something outside of these challenge topics. And the answer would be not for this program. If you wanted to pursue something independently with UTRC, something you would have to discuss with them. I would talk to Stella about that. Next question, have the Connecticut colleges and universities been made aware of this program? Yes, they have been. Not only have we done press releases, we have sent informational emails out, and we have been in personal contact with a number of folks from several of the colleges and universities. So yes, they are aware.
And again, if you're a small business looking for a university, contact us and we'll try to make that connection for you. If you're a university person on this call doing research in this area, looking to partner up with a small business, again, contact us and we will connect you with the appropriate small businesses.
Stella, did you want to say something more? Stella? In the meantime, another question, is there a minimum effort that needs to be done by the university?
Would you like me to take that one?
Yes, I would, please.
Okay. What needs to be done by the university is really up to the small business. But because we're requiring a partnership, I want to see a significant partnership. I don't want to see, you have to partner, so you put them on one line item and they're going to do some minor thing for you. I don't really want to see that. I mean, again, it's a judgment call, but the point of this is that all parties are really actively working together. We do expect the small business to carry the load because you're sort of the principal on the whole thing, but we do expect a relevant role to be played by the university. I don't know how else to describe that to you, but I think you understand my meaning. I hope so. If you don't ask me again, then I'll try another answer.
If a person is common to the small business and to the university, is it okay for this person to be part of the overall team?
It is. That's an interesting situation, and if you've got that situation, you probably ought to give me a call and we can talk about it. But certainly I don't see any reason why, because you're smart enough to be playing on both ends of that, both on the small business and with the university, that would be a conflict in any way. It would actually be quite nice. But if there is an issue around it, just give us a call and we'll talk it through. But I do not see that as an issue.
Stella? So give us just a moment here, folks. We're having some technical difficulties. Stella, do you want to type in what it is you'd like to say? We're not able to hear you. Stella? No, we can't hear you. Can you type what it is? That's probably hard. Okay, Stella's asking if there are any other questions for her. And she wants to clarify the HMI question. Stella, can you type it in? We're not getting audio for you. Okay, so the question is, under the HMI, is a combination of audio and video systems applicable? That was the original question. Yeah. She's asking what it is about. She wants to clarify. Okay. And again, the answer is yes, that would be a great innovative topic to discuss. So whoever it is that has that idea, please go forward with it. And she hasn't heard of anyone else taking that approach. I would also like to give you one more recommendation, folks who are there. If you are not sure whether your topic is a fit or not and are thinking about not applying, I would say get in touch with Stella, ask her about it, and err on the side of for saying no. You have nothing to lose to find out if it's something that's worthwhile going forward with, and you have everything to gain. So are there any other questions? Okay. Wonderful. Will it be held next year?
Will what be held? The program? Yes, it is our intent that this is not a one-shot program, that if in fact we can, I certainly get a lot of interest from the big companies. There's a lot of big companies with a lot of issues. They like the concept of open innovation and seeking small guys and universities to help them work through those issues. So I have had nothing but goodness from that perspective. My concern is, in Connecticut, being able to drum up enough interest on the small business side and the university side to help these big companies get through these issues to continue the program. So the monies are available, but we need to see if the programs work and we get the right level of proposals and commitment and activity moving forward. But if we have it, right now at least, and of course the government can change its mind at any moment in time, but right now the program is set for at least 2 years and with the option to even go further. So it is not a one-shot kind of thing. The other thing I would mention is that every big business has said to us, if this picks up and they actually see some really good interaction between the small and themselves in solving a problem, they will step up more and more. So the idea is at some point government backs out of these kinds of things and business goes forward with it as our world should be, and that is also the goal. So for your information, that is where this is headed. But there is more than enough money for at least 2 years of moving forward.
And there is one more question that I'd like to address.
Mm-hmm.
What they're asking is UTRC or any of the big companies the larger partners in this. And I think that's subject to interpretation. They're not partners in terms of funding unless, like Sikorsky, they decide that they want to take that role.
That's correct. The role that the big company plays is giving us a topic and a challenge. Some of the big companies have said to us, in addition to the funding from the state, even in this very first round, if we really feel strongly that a small business and university is doing something really, really relevant and moving us forward in a really positive way, we would be foolish business people if we didn't, because I'm maxed out at 150. They said we would be foolish business people if we didn't offer what's necessary to move it forward, assuming it's goodness for our company. So although there's no requirement by the big company to put up funding in this first round, there's certainly interest by the big company that if they can see enough value added and it's required and needed, they will consider it and move forward with us, with you as a, quote, partner. So at this point, we're all partners, but if you come out of corporate America like I do, the man with the gold rules. That would be the golden rule. And right now, the people with the gold are the state of Connecticut in the form of CI and this Innovation Challenge, and the small business in the form of the match.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, well, at this point, I want to thank you all very much for your time. I'm really looking forward to see some great proposals coming through. Stella, thank you so much for your time and your energy, and we look forward to working together with all of you. If you have any other questions and you need to contact us, you have our contact information, and I wish you all the very best of luck. Thank you.